Hello, friends and loved ones. I'm Rizzle. You may remember me. I am the Rizzle from Capernaum, Izzle. Um, my buddy Dizzle couldn't make it today, but maybe we'll see him another day. We'll see what happens here. I bet he can make an appearance here somewhere. But I'm here today to read from the Jesus Storybook Bible, one of my favorite books. So I'm starting on page 334, A New Way to See. So here we go. Let's get to work here. Let's get going. Of all the people who kept the rules, Saul was the best. I'm good at being good, he'd tell you. He was very proud. He was very good. But he wasn't very nice. Saul hated anyone who loved Jesus. He traveled around looking for them. He wanted to catch them and put them in prison. He wanted everyone to forget all about Jesus. He didn't believe Jesus was the rescuer, and he didn't believe Jesus was alive either. You see, Paul had never met Jesus. So one day, Jesus met Paul. I mean Saul, not Paul, Saul. Oh, here we have. This was a picture of Saul. All right. Saul was on his way to Damascus when suddenly a dazzling light flashed like lightning. It was brighter than the sun. It was too bright. Saul shielded his eyes and fell to the ground. He heard a loud voice. It was too loud. It gave Saul a headache. "Saul, Saul," said the loud voice, "why are you fighting me?" "Lord," Saul answered. "Who are you?" "I am Jesus," said the voice. "When you hurt my friends, you are hurting me too." Saul's whole body was trembling. "Go to the city," Jesus said. "I'll tell you what to do." So here's Saul on his knees with his horse. He is about to be on his way to the city because Jesus told him to go. When Saul opened his eyes, he couldn't see. His helpers had to hold his hand and lead him like a small child. Saul was blind for 3 whole days, and yet it was as if he was seeing for the very first time. Meanwhile, there was a man named Ananias who loved Jesus. Saul came to him in a dream. "Go to Saul and pray for him, and I will make him see again." Ananias knew all about Saul and how he hated Jesus' followers. "Lord, he has come to hurt us." But Jesus told Ananias, Saul is the one I've chosen to tell the whole world who I am." So Ananias went to Saul. "Brother Saul," Ananias said, "it was Jesus you met on the road." And Ananias prayed for Saul. Suddenly, Saul could see again. But he saw things differently. He wasn't mean anymore. He even changed his name from Saul to Paul, which means small and humble, and the very opposite of proud. And and do you know that what Ananias' name means? The Lord is full of grace. Grace is just another word for gift, which is funny because that's just what Paul's message was all about from then on. Paul's message from then on was all about grace. So here's Paul being led by his friends when he couldn't see, and then he was able to see. It's not about keeping rules, Paul told people. You don't have to be good at being good for God. You don't have to be good at being good for God to love you. You just have to believe what Jesus has done and follow him. Because it's not about trying, it's about trusting. It's not about rules, it's about grace. God's free gift that cost him everything. What had happened to Paul? He met Jesus. Paul got a new job. He called himself a servant and traveled everywhere telling everyone about Jesus. He got shipwrecked 3 times. He even ended up in prison. God loves us, he wrote from prison. Nothing can ever, no, not ever, separate us from the never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love of God that he showed us in Jesus. So it was. Just as God promised Abraham, that dark night all those years ago, the family of God's children grew and grew. Until one day, they would come to number more than even all the stars in the sky. Here's some pictures of Paul being shipwrecked out on his adventures, telling everybody about the love of Jesus. It was so some great pictures here, but a great story. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. A great story of Saul meeting Jesus and turning his name to Paul, which means humble, the opposite of proud. So it's not about following the rules. It's all about following Jesus and believing all that he taught us and said to us and did for us. So thank you very much for listening, everybody. And remember, tell all your friends, Rizzle is here. And we're reading a really great story of Paul today. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.